Hey, this is Chad with BeGoneForGood. I make videos all about adventure motorcycling, from the bikes and trips I've taken to reviews and tutorials of the items that I have on the bike. Essentially anything that revolves around adventure motorcycling you'll find on this channel. If that sounds like something that'd be interesting to you, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can get updated anytime we post up a new video. Today I've got a little something different for you because I know a lot of people might be in some cold weather climates, might be snowed in even, and not be able to ride their bike. So I've got a few ideas here for reading material that you can bring out and still keep that adventure alive. Before we get too deep into it, let's roll that intro. So for today, I'm going to be going through a few options for books that I have on my library shelf that I'm going to be reading this winter, and maybe you might be interested in too if you've got that adventure motorcycling spirit. Now for my first pick this winter, you've got to start off with the godfather of adventure motorcycling, Ted Simon. I've already done Jupiter's Travels, I'm sure a lot of you have as well, but there's two other ones that he has that I haven't read yet that I'm looking to get into this winter. There's Dreaming of Jupiter and Riding High. Now Riding High is basically the sequel to Jupiter's Travels. This is just more stories of that first trip around the world. And Dreaming of Jupiter is his second trip, essentially making the same trip around the world again about 30 years later, 20 years later. Both of these sound like really great ones. If you know Ted Simon at all, you know he's a great rider, really exciting, great journey, great adventure, great rider. Nothing will keep your fire burning like these. All right, next up on my reading list is a story that I think I only really got to because I was reading Ted Simon, and Amazon suggested it as another one. On the front, Ted Simon has called it inspirational, but it's touching the world. It's the story of Cathy Birchall and her around the world trip. The thing that makes this really interesting and really different is Cathy is blind. So she wanted to be the first blind person to navigate the globe on a motorbike. I don't know exactly how that happens, but it sounds really interesting and about as much adventure as you could possibly handle. And I'm really excited to read this book. It sounds like it's really inspirational. It sounds like there's a lot going on here. So I'm very excited to check this one out this winter, and I think you probably should too. Up next is one of the most prolific and talented adventure writers that's out there, He may be a great writer as well, I just don't know, but he is definitely a great writer. Had a chance to meet him at Overland Expo this past year, and I will have to choose from one of these four to read. Like I said, he's prolific, he's got a lot going on here, but it's Sam Manicom. Great guy, always ready to tell a story, and starts out with Into Africa and then follows with essentially every other continent out there that he did a massive bike journey on and has been riding for years and years and years. He's a great rider. Again, a lot like Ted Simon, it's not as much about the riding as it is about the people that he meets and the experiences that he has along that route, which I think is really exciting to me. That's the sort of thing that gets me going. I obviously won't be able to get through all four of these, but I will have to pick one, maybe two, and read up on that. So if you want to get into it, Sam Manicom is a great place to go because he's got a lot of reading available for you. For my fourth book on this list, I'm going back to a golden oldie, one that I'm sure you probably read before. I know I certainly have, but it's always great to get back to it. Every time I reread this story, I find more, I get more involved in it. Now that I've had a couple of kids, I think it probably has even more impact. It's Robert Pirsig's Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. This book is incredible. It deals with so many different elements. It starts off seeming like a really free and easy ride across country with a man and his son, and it just explodes from there into an incredible story that, if you're interested in fantasy and good and evil tales and just diving deep into the psyche, this is a great way to do it. I guarantee you will not be bored with this. It is some interesting reading and maybe a little bit headier than some of the other adventure stuff out there, but it's really just a story that you will never read anything like it ever again, or probably ever have read anything like it. It's just spectacular, and that's why I'm willing to go ahead and reread it over this winter. For my last book on our winter reading list, I'm going to go with a story that has nothing to do with motorcycling. It's called The Endurance, and it's all about Edward Shackleton's journey across the Antarctic on foot with a 27-man team back in 1914. This is exactly the type of adventure I want nothing to do with except for in the pages of a book. I don't like the cold. I certainly don't want to be stuck on the Antarctica, perhaps to die, but these guys went through it. This is the story of their journey, which I've heard, I haven't read the book, I've heard is just tremendously inspiring and terrifying all at the same time. So if you're interested in getting some page turners for your winter reading, The Endurance is a great way to go. Those are the 5 maybe 10 stories that are on my winter reading list that I'm gonna try and get through when my bike is parked. Luckily, I live in North Carolina where my cold months, my cold days are generally not all that bad, especially compared to you northern guys. If you have a different story that you think I should be checking out or something else you'll be reading over the course of this winter, let me know down in the comments section. Again, I make videos all about adventure motorcycling. We've got a lot coming here to close 2019 and a ton coming in 2020. If this is the sort of thing that you're interested in, feel free to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get updates as soon as we upload another video. And if you have any questions for me, anything you want to know about the trips we're going to be taking, trips I've taken in the past, the bikes I've ridden, the CB500X and the Africa Twin, feel free to leave a comment and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your reading and let's stay safe out there riding.